Great. So yeah, we have a whole team here working behind the scenes to support this webinar, as we always do. Yeah, it is really wonderful to see so many people. I will say right off the bat that I really appreciate how many people have their video on right now. It's really helpful for me in this webinar to have faces reacting at what I'm saying so that I can see sort of if things are getting completely lost or not. So please keep your video on if you're comfortable. Turn your video on if you're comfortable. I appreciate that. And I think I should already probably slow down for the interpretation. So today we're going to be doing an overview of the Worker Benefits Program offerings for 2023, focusing on dental and vision insurance and disability and accident insurance. If you're interested in talking about healthcare, I'd request that you email me to talk about it separately, because it's something that's very specific to each workplace, and what we're able to provide is quite limited. We are in open enrollment already, but you're not late to the party because the party's kind of just starting. But open enrollment for 2023 goes through December 7th of this year. And yeah, I'm Maddie Taterka. I'm the Worker Benefits Manager. I've been mostly running this program for the past 3 years. I'm also joined here by my colleague, Lauren Scheel, who's our new Worker Benefits and Membership Coordinator. And also you might have worked with my colleague, Kate, on some Worker Benefits things in the past as well. So to begin, we're going to start with the basics of the program and who it is open to. All of our members are welcome to join the Worker Benefits Program so long as they meet like the specific benefit qualifications. But oftentimes I get asked if you have to be a co-op or you have to be a specific type of institution. And the answer is no. If you're a member of the Federation, you are welcome to join this program. The one sort of caveat that we have is that associate members, we expect to be paying $500 in dues, but that's a thing we'll figure out with associate members as that comes up. Our programs are open to people who have either Social Security numbers or individual tax identification numbers. So you do not need a Social Security number to participate in these plans. And we also strive to make our program as inclusive as possible of LGBTQIA people. Our plans are open to couples of any gender combination. The only exception to that, or any gender combination at any time, but the only exception to when partners aren't able to join a plan is with tax advantage plans for people who are unmarried. Tax advantage plans are a healthcare piece that we aren't going to talk about today, but that is the only situation because of IRS regulations. We also really try to make it as safe of a space, at least on my end, for our trans participants. I have implemented a couple different systems to minimize people's contact with dead names or incorrect gender markers to the extent that I can. Oftentimes insurance companies have requirements for legal names and legal gender markers that we can't work around, but we can sort of try and insulate people as much as possible from having to interact with that. And I'm always also open to ideas or feedback on how to improve any of those systems. And finally, a very important basic of the Worker Benefits Program is that I am not an insurance broker. No one on the staff of the USFWC is an insurance broker. We work with our broker partner, Matthew Tay, who is here on the call with his company, Diversified Human Solutions, to work out the plans that we offer and to help with administration and implementation. So you might be wondering why this program, why we created this program through the USFWC. A lot of this came out of just our understanding how much of an issue health equity was among our membership, and understanding how challenging it is for our members to navigate the insurance system, while also acknowledging that, like, in the United States, workplaces are heavily relied upon to give people access to healthcare. So the Federation has endorsed healthcare as a human right, Medicare for all, and also we know that we need to support each other in accessing benefits and accessing healthcare in the system that we have until we get to that point. So one of the things that I really appreciate about this work and working with all of you and working with the Federation is that you know, we're trying to navigate this really challenging system together. And I will always aim to be really transparent about what is an insurance company limitation, and, you know, not pretend that things are better than they actually are, because we're still working within a system that is designed for the profits of the insurance companies and not having our own health at the center of it. So yeah, this is a sort of overview of the different pieces of the program. Dental and vision insurance, which are our largest programs and will be the focus of today. Accident and disability insurance, which we'll also talk about today. We have a partnership with an administrator that does tax advantage reimbursement plans, which is an umbrella term for things like that you might have heard of called health savings accounts, or HSAs, flexible spending arrangements, FSAs, those types of plans. Then with Matthew, our broker, we also are able to support some of our members in certain states with accessing small group health plans for their workers. I do want to just be transparent that, like, our ability to do that is very limited, and also, like, we can't offer like radical discounts on what you might find from the health insurance marketplace. It's really just about supporting people with accessing the benefits that are out there. And then another big piece of our work is research. That's what I'm often doing if I'm not replying to an email question or setting up open enrollment, looking into how to create retirement plans that are available to our members and can also reinvest in the cooperative economy. Looking into better strategies to pool healthcare so that we can have more accessible and sufficient health benefits for our members. And so that's all very much an ongoing research project, and I'm always interested to know like what people are thinking about and what people have heard about, because we're certainly not the only people working on this. And so our hope with all of this and what we are accomplishing with dental and vision insurance is that by grouping together to have our members get these benefits through the plans available through the Federation, is you get better rates, you get better benefits than if you're just going in as a small group. You get support from me and our growing team and also this research that we really hope will have a great long-term payoff for all of our members. So to talk a little bit more to that power in numbers, currently we have over 50, almost 60 member organizations that are enrolled in our dental insurance and vision insurance programs, which represents almost 600 people. It's in every state, and the rates across every one of those people are the same. And so everybody's getting the same benefits for the same cost, basically. And for some people in certain states, especially where benefits are more expensive, it's a huge savings. Yeah, and so like I said, the prices are often higher for individuals and tiny group plans. They often require waiting periods to be able to use the benefits. And yeah, together we can leverage our power, and we'll talk about that shortly. Like I said before, organizations of all member classes are eligible. For dental and vision, we require that the workplace pays a minimum of 50% of the worker's monthly premium for dental and vision. If people add dependents, the workplace is not responsible for paying more, though you can, and we encourage that. And for dental, workplaces have to have 70% of the qualifying workers enroll, not including people who already have the benefits through a partner or a parent. For individuals, for dental and vision, workers have to be either on payroll or be worker owners of the business and have their income being taxed on like a K-1 form. 1099 contractors cannot join because of regulations. People are expected to be working at least 20 hours a week, and people must have an ITIN or a social security number. So you need either of those to enroll. Dependents are eligible until age 26. Partners are eligible for coverage. Legal marriage is not required. Any gender combination is great. And like I said before, people will need to disclose their legal name and gender marker, but we have some systems in place to sort of minimize contact and use of those. Question break. We're gonna, I wanted to just pause at this point. I've already delivered a lot of information. If folks want to either drop a question in the chat or unmute, and feel free to ask a question. All right. Well, there will be more time for questions at other breaks.
Oh, I do actually have a question.
Oh, great. Okay.
It was taking too long to type. Your last slide, it had something about workers must be on payroll or an owner of the company. And I just have probably a weird situation that I'm thinking about, but it's like a multi-stakeholder co-op. So we're thinking about how this could work for both the staff members that are the worker owners and the not worker owners who are part of the co-op. And so I guess what we'd have to do is show that they're owners of the co-op. So I just wanted to check, because you said something about a K-1. So if they're an owner, what do you have to show for that?
Yeah, so for people who are multi-stakeholder co-op members, like if they're members of like sort of equivalent to being members of a consumer co-op or something like that, those people would not be eligible for the plan. It really has to be like an employment situation. So when I say either workers must be on payroll or be owners of the business, I'm more speaking to the difference between like a co-op that's arranged as a C Corp and people who are worker owners are being taxed on a W-2 versus a multi-partner LLC where people are like working 20 hours or more and are like their income is being generated like that. Matt, our broker, is DMing me saying it needs to be an active owner with a K1.
So, but it has to be it has to be connected to employment because that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll follow up afterwards with some more questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. The key being that someone really has to be working for the company for 20 hours a week or more. But yeah, definitely feel free to follow up with specifics. That's a really good question though. So we have some updates coming for 2023, which is really a reflection of this collective power that we've accumulated as a group of people who has, you know, over 600 people, almost 60 organizations. We're going to be changing our carriers for dental insurance. And we're also going to be sort of changing around how the vision insurance is administered, where it will be through Emeritus with people having the option of either choosing the VSP network or the IMED network. And the reason that we're making these changes is because it was renewal time, which means like the time when you go to the insurance company and say, what can we do for next year? And we ended up getting much better rates for exactly the same kinds of benefits from Delta for dental and from this Emeritus administered vision option. So the coverage is the same. The networks are similar or better, and the rates are a lot lower. So at this point, we are trying to schedule meetings with each group that is currently enrolled to go over exactly what those changes are going to look like specifically for your organization. So we're going to be sending out like the big email with all the information about renewals this probably at the end of this week. But now would be a great time to schedule a meeting with me or with Lauren through this Calendly link, which I can just drop right in the chat. And then if you're new to the program and want to look more deeply at it or have other questions to follow up with, you can also fill out this other Calendly form to set up a time to meet and talk through sort of what your questions are. Yeah, and we're really hoping to get to connect with all of the groups that are enrolled or going to enroll, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page, everybody has all their questions answered, and also just because it's great to talk with you all. And it's always fun to hear what's going on with your co-ops. So yeah. So what we're looking at in terms of a change in cost is that the premiums for dental and for vision are going down quite significantly, and we'll look at what the rates are, I think, on the next slide. This is coinciding with a need for us to do a larger increase to our admin fees because of our personnel expenses going up, and also the increase of some resources that we're going to have in 2023, which will involve a portal where people can, or sort of the administrator for each organization can log in to see who is currently active, to access resources more readily, to have just sort of a smoother experience on that level. But because we're increasing those admin fees at the same time that premiums are going down, it's actually resulting in a pretty significant net lower cost. So we were really excited to be able to offer ultimately a reduction in cost at a time when everything is getting more expensive. So yeah, okay, we're gonna talk about the dental plan first. Yeah, so the Delta Dental is so similar to the Emeritus that like this is the same slide as from last year, just with a different logo on top. It's the same. 100% coverage of 2 routine cleanings and exams per year. Something that might be, I'm not actually sure if this was offered with Emeritus or not, but people who are pregnant get a 3rd cleaning covered, which is great. It covers 1 set of those bite x-rays per year. And for children 13 or younger, it covers a fluoride application, and those are totally covered. For more complicated procedures, and I have like a list of what is considered these 2 different categories. They're covered either 80% by the insurance company or 50% by the insurance company, up to $1,500 per year. So same coverage as before. A Delta Dental network will be a little bit different from the Emeritus network. It's still one of the largest, if not the largest, dental network in the country. But if your dentist happens to not be in network with Delta, they do offer the same coverage for out-of-network services. So you'd pay out of pocket, but could expect to get reimbursed the same that your dentist would be if they had been in network. With vision insurance, the plans are basically the same if you pick VSP or IMED. They're very similar. There's a $10 copay for an annual exam. Standard lenses for in-network, there's a $20 copay. For monofocals, bifocals, trifocals, a little bit more for progressive lenses and getting up in that area. For frames and contact lenses, there's a $130 allowance per year with some additional coverage after that $130. And then there's partial reimbursement for out of network. So picking VSP versus IMED is really a matter of like, what is going to be the better network for you? You can research each network on the company websites. We'll have this information will be going out with all of the enrollment information. So people can choose which network they work with. There's also the option for just going with one network for the whole organization, sort of depending on what seems the most feasible. If there's one network that's like clearly better in the place where you all are, it might just make more sense to go with one versus the other. Rates, here we are. So this is what our rates are going to look like for 2023. So these are up top in green. We have per person per month rates. For a worker only for dental, it will be $28.86 per month, which is a reduction from $36 per person per month. So it's a pretty significant decrease for the same benefit, which is very exciting. Same with vision. Before this year, 2022, the IMED premium has been $7.80 per person per month, and is going down to $6.16 per person. These other amounts are for if workers want to add a partner, children, or partner and children. So if someone's adding a partner and children, it would be $93.90 per month for for dental, and $18.12 for vision. Worker plus partner is $57.08 for dental, $11.72 for vision. Worker plus children, $58.58 for dental, $12.32 for vision. Below, we're looking at per organization per month rates. So these numbers are just once per month per organization. And so these are what are increasing from this past year. So for groups that have 1 to 10 enrollees, if they're only enrolling in dental, it's $22 per month. If only vision, it's $12 per month. And if it's dental and vision, it's $31 per month. So you're saving like a couple of dollars going with both of the benefits. For groups that are 11 to 25 people, it's $30 per organization per month. For vision only, it's $20 per organization per month. And for dental and vision, it's $46 per person or per organization per month, not per person. And yeah, then going up 26 to 50 and 51 plus. Great. Okay, go back. Any questions at this time? I'm seeing the question from Chris in the chat. Do you choose vision provider per organization or per person? We have folks in different states, so wondering if our org would choose one provider or have multiple. So whoever is making the decision about the benefits, whether that's a group of people in your organization that collaborates to decide on the benefits, or if it's one person that's really in charge of figuring out what makes sense for everybody, that person or entity can decide either to choose one or to offer the option. So if you have people in multiple states, could definitely make sense to leave that option open to each person. Another thing that was pointed out to me today is that because we have these two options available, people can switch back and forth between the networks from year to year. And so ultimately like get more coverage for glasses and contacts, because some of those benefits, like the frames, are once every 2 years. Lenses are every year, but frames are once every 2 years. Ryan, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on the minimum 20 hours. Is that applicable if like you're an organization? You know, like say we were to, you know, negotiate with an employee as part of their hiring that we would, you know, cover them for like dental and vision, but they're not working a full 20 hours every week. Can we still do that?
There isn't a minimum for vision, but for dental, the minimum per person is 20 hours per week.
Okay. And then, so do we like send in time tracking reports, or how is that?
No, we don't collect tracking information like that. If the companies decided to really look into it, they could try and acquire, they could ask for information like that and ultimately deny a claim. We don't like collect timesheets or anything like that.
Okay. Got it.
Cool. Any other questions? It's a lot of information. It's also okay if questions don't appear in your brain till the end. Great, okay, I'm gonna continue. So it is open enrollment time, and we're going to look at just sort of what each organization is responsible for during open enrollment and what the Federation is responsible for providing to support with that process. So during open enrollment, if your organization is going to provide people with the opportunity to enroll in dental or vision benefits for 2023, workers have to be informed of their eligibility. People have to receive information that we will send to whoever the point person is. Then that point person is responsible for distributing the information to each person who's eligible about the plans, what the cost will be if the workplace is not covering the full cost. At that point, you'll be sort of assembling a roster that will give you a template for making sure that that roster is accurate, and also, very importantly, this year, that it is updated with the vision elections for each person, which network they want to use. And then for new people or people who are changing their benefits or adding an additional benefit, each one of those people needs to fill out an enrollment form in order for that to process and for those benefits to be live as they want them to be on January 1st. After open enrollment, ooh, I need to take this one out. Okay, this is a great learning moment for everybody, because here it says make sure workers receive their insurance cards. However, both the dental and the vision companies are going paperless. So people will not be receiving insurance cards in the mail. People will have electronic interfaces where they can print a card, or they can use their name and social security number and group number to use their benefits. There will be instructions about that. I apologize for not taking that off of this presentation. Also, after open enrollment, while, oh yes, there is the paperless option. I misspoke, it should be, you need your social security or your ITIN. There's also like a separate subscriber number that you could use instead. As new workers join the workplace, they also would get informed. Your responsibility is to inform them of their eligibility, as well as supporting workers with troubleshooting as needed, like referring them to me or supporting them in like finding the resources that they need, etc. Additionally, the organization is responsible for informing workers that leave the organization that they're eligible for COBRA, which allows people to extend their benefits after they leave an organization at their own expense. Matt, Diversified Human Solutions, they process COBRA and run the enrollment. It's simply the organization's responsibility to let people know that that is available to them. For the Federation, our responsibilities is to make information available to our members about the plans and the changes for the previous year, which we are doing right now, as well as in those meetings that we dropped the links in for earlier. We answer your questions and refer to our broker as needed. We distribute forms as needed. and communicate about missing information when possible. So if we receive a roster for a bunch of new people and we only receive enrollment forms for a couple of those people, we'll follow up with the organization and say, hey, we still need these forms. After open enrollment, we will process the changes made to the roster in a timely manner. When you all notify us that someone is joining the organization or leaving the organization, we then alert the insurance companies and the benefit ends, and we update the invoice so that you aren't being charged anymore. We will also respond to requests in a timely manner for things like support with insurance card access or other plan information, and just answer general questions. That's a big benefit of this program, that you get access to us to just support and answer questions and help illuminate the maze that is insurance. And to also just be told, like, yeah, it's normal that this stuff is really confusing because the insurance companies make it like that. So hopefully I can make it a little less confusing. This is a little visual of how billing works. So basically the insurance companies send a bill to the Federation for everybody on the plan. It's a big bill. Then we take that bill and we split it up for each organization. We say, okay, we know that this organization has 20 people enrolled, this organization has 4 people enrolled. And if you're enrolled in the program already, you've gotten invoices from us that have like the total dental premium, the total vision premium, plus a roster that shows everybody that we have currently enrolled. So you have those opportunities to sort of check and make sure like that you haven't forgotten to process someone who's left the organization, or that I didn't miss the email or anything like that. And hopefully our plan in 2023 is to make that information like even more accessible. But for now, that's how we're doing it. We also audit the rosters a couple of times a year to make sure that nothing has been missed, and that everything in our system lines up with the insurance company system. We also have an auto pay option, which is great, and everybody should use it. So we've gotten all this information. Now preparing for dental and vision enrollment. It's great to set up a meeting with everybody who's eligible so that everybody can receive the information at the same time. You can even take clips from this webinar if you want to and present them to people. You can read through the sheets all together. Because of the change in insurance companies, we're a little bit behind with getting all of the resources together, but that's all kind of falling into place this week. So we'll be all those things will be available and be distributed both in the follow-up to this webinar, and also there's going to be a lot of emails coming your way. So if you are just getting enrolled for the first time, a great first step is to email us at benefits@usworker.coop to tell us that you're ready to enroll. We'll send you this list of things and a lot more to go through the steps. You'll want to be determining who wants to enroll in benefits, making sure that you're hitting that 70% of eligible worker threshold for dental, and keeping in mind that that doesn't include people who have dental insurance already through someone else. They don't have to leave their partner's plan to come on this one or anything like that. There's no minimum enrollment for vision coverage, so that's super straightforward. We're asking all of the organizations this year, even if you've already been enrolled, to submit a new roster. So we'll be sending this link out in a lot of places, but also you can grab it here. This link will take you to making a copy of this sheet. And it's just a really straightforward way to communicate to us what benefits you're enrolling in, if you're offering everybody one vision option or the option of either one, and then picking which vision network people are enrolling into if they're given the option. With renewing groups, we'll be sending you this link as well as a roster that will map directly onto the spreadsheet. So you just have to copy and paste and then make your edits. And this is just for dental and vision benefits. So hopefully that will be relatively painless and simply informative for all. For each person who is new or who is changing their enrollment, they'll fill out this enrollment form, which we'll be sending a link to once it is finished up this week. People will fill in their name, their social security number or ITIN, their address, date of birth, email, legal gender marker, phone number, name of their associated co-op or business. It's really great if you have a DBA, a doing business as designation, if everybody's on the same page about what name should go in this field. We can usually track down who's who, but it's always helpful if the name that I'm getting for the business is the same as the one that comes into these plans. And yeah, date of hire, type of change, their election. This will offer an option of either IMED or VSP. The insurance effective date for open enrollment will be January 1st, 2023. And then when people click on these check boxes, it opens up more information for each of those dependents to log their information to enroll. If you're set up so that there's like one centralized person who does HR and admin, and it makes the most sense for that one person to fill out everybody's form, that is also okay. There's just a place where you can make a note saying HR filled this out. This is also the place where the name field will be the person's legal name. And then in the notes section is a space where people can log their chosen name, their accurate name. And then from there, we'll put in our system sort of an override of the legal name. There's a little bit, this is a little bit out of date, this sample form. So it'll look similar, but have a little bit more information in it. All right, so that's really the wrap on the dental and vision at this point. This is sort of the end of the steps of the open enrollment that needs to be completed by the deadline. And then, yeah, once we get these and once we get the affirmation that people are meant to enroll, their benefits will start on January 1st. All right, so next we're going to dive into accident and disability. So now is a great time for a dental and vision questions if you've got them.
Hey, this is Will from Immer Space.
I will.
I wanted to ask If we only have one worker owner who meets the eligibility criteria, can we still join?
Let's talk about that offline.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for specific eligibility questions, it's best if we can have a conversation one-on-one. Just so we can figure out if there's something we can do to work around it, or if it is going to be a clear-cut situation.
Okay.
All right. There will again be more time for questions at the end if things come to mind. Now I'm gonna do a hard pivot over to accident and disability insurance benefits. So accident insurance is simply like it's a very simple kind of insurance where you pay a set amount per month. It's a little bit more than $20. And then in the event of some sort of accident, you would get flat payments to supplement medical costs, out-of-pocket costs. We know it is expensive to get hurt in this country. And so it is really just meant to sort of support with the financial burdens that come with needing emergent medical care. It's not a replacement for health insurance. For short-term disability insurance, it is designed to partially replace your income in the event that you can't work because of an accident, an illness, or pregnancy and childbirth. The accident and disability insurance that we have available is administered by the company Colonial Life. They are both available in every state at rates that are set in Pennsylvania, because that's where I am and where Matt's company is. That can mean a really significant savings for people in other states. So definitely like a solid opportunity if you're looking to implement these kinds of benefits. These are considered voluntary benefits, which means that there's no minimum threshold for how many workers can enroll. And each worker, they're designed so that each worker will arrange payment directly with Diversified Human Solutions, the broker partner. There is the option for the workplace to pay, but in that case, then the benefit is subject to tax, which it is not if a worker is paying for the benefit out of pocket. Another aspect to the fact that workers are paying out of pocket is that they're portable benefits, which means that if a worker leaves the workplace when they got the benefit, they can keep the benefit as they move on to other jobs. So that can be especially important with disability insurance, because people can be excluded from disability insurance for pre-existing conditions. So if you're able to lock it in, then over time you have that sort of guarantee, that safety net in the background. Yeah, and so the voluntary short-term disability insurance, it will provide up to 6 months of partial income replacement if someone cannot work because of injury or illness, typically that originated outside the workplace. You can add an on-the-job coverage option, though typically that would be covered by a workers' comp situation. It's also available for pregnancy and childbirth, but it's really important to note that that is not a substitute for parental leave, and it's not available to people who are not like physically giving birth to a person. It's not for the non-gestational parent or for adoptive parents. it's only for people who are going through that experience of being pregnant and having a child. In the past, we had something called guaranteed issue. Unfortunately, we aren't able to offer that this year. It was sort of a one-time thing that the insurance company gave us. I'm hopeful that we can perhaps open that again in the future, but not this year. And yeah, it's just really important to consider that anybody can be impacted by disability at any time. So, you know, it's something that we can't ever predict. Accidents and illnesses, they don't pick and choose based on demographic or age. And yeah, it can be useful for anybody. Hopefully, you know, we won't need to use it, but it's a really good thing to have in the event that we do. Yeah. As I said, the disability insurance is priced based on age and on income. Each individual can determine the amount that they want to cover up to 60% of their pre-tax income. So then it's calculated by per $100 that make up that amount of up to 60% of the income. So you take, if you wanted the full 60%, you divide your pre-tax income by, or you multiply by 60%, you divide that amount by $100, and then multiply that by the cost per 100 that you'd find here. And that amount is based on the age here. And then my understanding is that it locks in at the age that you bought it. So you can continue to pay that amount even if you pass 49 or 60. Question though. All right. So just to sort of wrap up, we've got some key links, and this you'll receive the webinar slides with the follow-up. But the really key pieces are that will get you everywhere else you need to go are the Worker Benefits website, as well as the interest form and Calendly scheduler. Here's the Calendly form. Sorry that I'm only just dropping links in with no context. But then we have the Worker Benefits website, which is additionally available in Spanish. We've got our knowledge base FAQ and our resources in English, which are both a little bit under construction and will be updated very soon. The box files are a little bit ahead of the knowledge base and the resources. So if you really want to get like a head start on seeing all the inside out details of the Delta dental plan, you can check that out in the public box files. And that concludes the webinar. We have still 20 minutes where I'm happy to answer questions. You can also follow up with me via email. You reach me and Lauren at benefits@usworker.coop. And we'll also be offering a webinar next Thursday, November 3rd, which will be the same presentation, but presented by Kate Barut in Spanish with simultaneous translation into English. So it's a great spot for people who would like to have the presentation with a Spanish source language, or if people want to catch the rerun, Kate's take. Yeah. That's my webinar. Yeah, and I welcome your questions now. thank you all for listening. To find more about health insurance at the as I mentioned at the beginning, the best place to start is by emailing me, benefits@usworker.coop. There's also in the public box folder that I just linked, there is just some sort of overview information about what we're able to offer in terms of health insurance. Yeah, and also, thank you, comms team, for dropping this in. We have a lot of new resources in our co-op clinic. If you want to explore the other wonderful offerings that your Federation membership gives you access to, the co-op clinic has been hard at work putting together some mini guides on some really common worker co-op processes, structures, and the things we all deal with on a day-to-day. I'm so sorry I don't have anything to say about pet insurance. I deal with humans. Great. All right. Well, I'm going to hang out for a couple minutes if anyone has like secret questions they want to ask. But other than that, thank you all so much. We can stop the recording.